Hello, this is Lucas. Welcome to another CSS video where we will be going over the height and the width. So you can see we have ourselves two divs here, and I added a bit of CSS. All I have is just a border like I do in all my videos. It's just a very good way just to see what is actually happening. So if you add a border, you can actually see the dimensions of your div, because that is what we'll be modifying. We're going to be modifying the height and the width. So by using a border, we can clearly see what is happening. So I have this div here, it's called section 1. You can see the border CSS I have here. So yeah, we're going over the height and the width. So let's say we want our height to be, let's set it at 400 pixels. Now by setting your height at 400 pixels, this is what the height of your div will always be. So we can go into here, and you can see that the height of our div will always be 500 pixels. Always. Now, if we don't declare the height of our div will be just enough to put our content in. So you can see we have the header and our two paragraphs. We have the header and we have our two paragraphs. So that's what happens to our height by default. But obviously, we can specify the height just like this. Now, also what we can do is we can specify the width. So you can see we can have, let's say the width we want to be at 300 pixels. Right? We have the width at 300 pixels. Let's do that a bit bigger. Let's do 400 as well. Now, you can see, so by default, the width of our div will be, it will span through the entire page, because whenever you create a div or a paragraph or a header, it will always span the entire width. Okay, so that's the way it works. But now we set the width, and you can see now this is the only width that we have. Alright, what we have as 400 by 400. So our div here is just a 400 by 400 square. Right, and you can see here. Now let's say we remove our height, right? I don't want our height anymore. And so we're going to be left off with the div, or with the width. Now let's say that we want our width to be flexible. Okay, we want it to be flexible. So what we can do is, instead of having width, what we can do is we can have max width. And let's say we set that as 300 pixels. Now what this means is, no matter what happens to our div, let's say we use a bit of JavaScript or something like that, no matter what we do, our width will always stay at 300 pixels. Alright, that's the max. It won't surpass 300 pixels. So it might be 200 pixels. It might be 150, but it will never be over 300 pixels. So we can refresh that. It'll be always 300. And the text will just move on to the next line. As you can see, this was just after the 4. But now, because our width got smaller, this word here no longer fits in here. So it has to get moved down to the bottom. And then by having max width, we can also have a min width. We can have that 100 pixels. This won't really do much. We won't really be able to see anything with that. But then also with width, we can have the max height. We can have max height. And we can have something like, let's say we want this one only to be 200 pixels. So the max height of this will always be 200 pixels, no matter what. And yeah, that's 200 pixels. So yeah, so that's about it for the height and the width. It's a very quick one, but I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.